Welcome to the BigBusinessZoo.com speaker series on how to increase your sales, network, and site rank. This series features video segments that highlight powerful ways to leverage digital assets such as video, podcast, blogging, mobile apps, and other digital tools. Today we feature an author, speaker, and marketing performance strategist, Craig Valine. Craig will speak today on his specialty in uncovering hidden marketing assets and overlooked profit potential within businesses. As an author, Craig's books include The Ultimate No BS Guide to Entrepreneurial Success and The League of Extraordinary Entrepreneurs. He is also a co-author with David T. Fagan in their work Zero to Hero in 90 Days or Less. Nicknamed No BS Craig Valine, he helps companies find the profit-generating opportunities that may be going unseen or are not being used to their full potential, and once found, then Craig supports them to leverage greater results, power, and profit. For those who are entrepreneurs, business owners, sales professionals, and professional practice owners, and who want to learn more effective ways to substantially increase their income by making better marketing choices, both online and offline, using serious promotions and even humor, get ready and listen in as Craig reveals how he has helped others and how he can help you increase your sales, network, and site rank. And now, here is your host, a profitability strategist, a marketing maven, as well as our beloved zookeeper, Catherine B. Trainer.
So, Craig, what excites you the most about marketing and digital tools right now?
Well, marketing in general, I think I love it, number one, because I have a few different definitions of marketing. I think number one, marketing is, in its basic form, self-promotion. It's letting the world know that you exist and that you have something of benefit to serve a very specific type of person. It's also the beginning of a relationship between someone, and I like to equate it to a man and a woman, a man and a man, woman and woman, whatever. What kind of a relationship you're going to have with somebody. It's that moment you engage them for the first time and you realize, you know, I like her and I'd like to get to know her better, you know, or something to that effect. But it starts that dance of a relationship that hopefully is about to become a long one, you know, a long-standing, loving relationship, I call it. Whether it's a friendship, whether it's a marriage, whether it's, you know, friends, family, whatever. You want to ultimately create a dear and valued friendship with your clients, a respected one, so, you know, you're providing something of enormous value to them, and in return they're giving you their money and their loyalty. Mm-hmm. I love that aspect of it, because if you respect relationships on the whole, then you can respect the relationships in a business arrangement, because people are people. And, you know, people, if they don't feel respected, if they don't feel a connection with you, well, then they're just going to go on to the next company or business or whatever. And doesn't that happen? If your loved one didn't let you know that he or she loved you, right, you're going to go, hey, you haven't given me flowers in a while. You haven't taken me out to dinner in a while. You haven't done something nice for me to let me know that I'm important to you. And that has to happen in every business relationship, and that is marketing. As far as digital tools are concerned, digital tools are just another way to reach your audience. So, for instance, if I show you I care about you by sending you flowers, if I show you I care about you by sending you a card in the mail for no reason, if I pick up the phone and I call you and say, hey, how you doing today? You know, digital tools are just another media to enhance that relationship. And if it's done right, if it's done personal, it can be extraordinarily powerful.
So, for example, like sending somebody, you see an article that just exactly pertains to their niche, their industry, or something new, or you think they'll think it's funny or whatever. You send them just a quick note and saying, hey, I saw this and I thought maybe that this would help you.
Yeah, I think, you know, there's a combination of things. That sending of an article is one little thing you can do. If you saw a comic, if you saw an article, if you saw a video that inspired you and you thought this might inspire them too, or they might get to know me a little bit better by me sharing what made me feel great in my life. Introductions of people, especially in social media, right? You can do that. You can say, hey, this is my friend, you should like them too, or you should follow them on Facebook, or you should do these things because I respect them, I like them, and I believe you can learn a lot from them. And we do that. I do that with, our friends Casey and Jennifer all the time, and it's because they're valuable to my life, so I want the people in my life to get to know them as well.
Exactly. And then also, as much as we'd like to think it's logic and this and that and the other, people make purchase decisions based on an emotional feeling.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a baseline of trust and respect, you're not going to get an emotional connection or reaction.
Well, people initially do business with people because they have a need to solve a problem or solve a circumstance that they're in. And it could be as simple as I'm hungry, so I'm going to get something to eat, or it could be I need a website by Monday morning, or whatever. It could be anything. And they're going to look for, based on their criteria at that very moment, they're going to base it on how can I get it fast and cheap. Well, if there are things done in advance, so for instance, a business, in a for-profit business today, no matter who they are, should have some web presence, okay? Mm-hmm. So if you are a proactive entrepreneur and you've done some homework, you can find the businesses that don't have a website yet. And if you're staying in touch with these people, maybe it wasn't time then, but it's time now, and you've planted the seeds along the way about the value of a good website, what's important, the biggest mistakes people make, etc., etc. When they're about to make that website buying decision, who are they going to go to? Are they going to go look for the cheapest thing, or are they going to go with the people that they've a relationship has been formed along the way through touches, through credibility, hopefully building. There's been an emotional attachment to them slightly because they feel like they know them if they've done their job right. Mm-hmm. If we just send an article and we don't do anything right, well, okay, at least your company name is in their heads. But if we do what's right, like establishing what we were talking about just beforehand about personality in copy, personality in your marketing, whereas they feel like they almost know you, for instance, I use my son in a lot of my marketing. I refer to him as Mini-Me, and he's my marketing character. Now, I don't call him Mini-Me. I just refer to him as Mini-Me because it generates conversation no matter where I go. I have a great relationship with my son, and people who have kids who have that relationship appreciate it. People who have kids who don't have that good relationship wish they did, and they admire me for having it. And people who don't have kids who wish they did and can't wait to have that loving relationship. It builds a bond somewhere, People who hate kids and don't care, well, maybe they're not my customer, and that's okay. But the point is, if I relate some of my life in my marketing about, how this might relate to something I did. My son runs track. And I talk about the lessons, the mental lessons about running track and how the purpose of a race is to win. How does that apply to a business owner? Well, if I can relay that story into a lesson, then people go, wow, that was really powerful, and I love that his son is getting better and better every time. That's how you create that emotional connection to begin with. Because they can find anybody who can do a website or whatever it is we do, but it's not always true that they can create that emotional connection with somebody because they feel like they know you and they're a part of your life.
And that's one of the things right now with the way the marketplace is. 10 years ago, you couldn't create that emotional connection unless you were physically meeting with people at Chamber of Commerce events or at networking groups or something like that. Right. Now, because you can do online videos or you can do your Facebook page or things like that, you can introduce elements of your personality in your life within reason.
Yeah. Well,
that you're a whole person and somebody that can be trusted.
Right. Yeah, you need to, it's another media. And by media, I mean, let's say in the advertising space or marketing space, what types of media are? Well, one media is that one-on-one. We're right in front where we go and shake their hands. Another media is the phone. Another media is U.S. mail. Another media is the newspaper. Another media is Yellow Pages. Digitally, on the internet, online tools such as social media, video, audio, podcasts, everything. Yeah, it's another way to create that connection. Because if we understand human personalities at all, or human psychology, we understand that people communicate through our five senses, okay? Three dominant: the visual, the auditory, and the kinesthetic. Kinesthetic means feeling, how they feel internally or pressing the flesh externally. Audio, some people learn better by hearing, and some people learn by visual, by watching, seeing the lessons done on a board or in person, or having them speak. And we want to tap into whatever it is for them. So we might send out a video to our list, and that may connect with a portion of the list. Then we might do this this recording right now. What if we save it to an MP3 file, and now it's an audio recording of what we're doing? What if we also transcribe this and we send it out to some people? And what if we integrated all of them at the same time? Then we'll really have a better impact of reaching these people and creating that connection. Because if there's a disconnect at any level, people will say, I like him, but I just don't feel like I connect with him. Well, it's because we haven't reached them on a level which really, really communicates internally with them.
Right. One of the things that is fascinating, and I know it's your hobby, but you do stand-up comedy. And I was so excited to get to talk to you because I've been studying a lot of high-end advertising and marketing also, and one of the things that people want things to go viral. They want to integrate humor in their marketing, and if humor is done well, it is brilliant and it makes sales. If it's done bad, it can just ruin your credibility, right, and be tacky and icky or you feel like you're a copycat, like so many people tried to copycat the Old Spice, the guy on the horse with the no shirt.
Yes.
Everybody's trying to do that, and it's just, it worked that time because of that guy, and it was funny and clever because I think you could make him do things. They had a site where he would do different things. Right. Like the Burger King chicken.
Yes.
Make the chicken go around, and that was cute. That was funny. But the other problem that you have with using humor is people get so into it that they don't make the brand connection. Yeah. Like if the Energizer Bunny, that's supposed to be funny. Yeah. But if you look at the brand connection, it's about half and half people saying Ever Ready and Energizer.
Right.
So while that's great marketing and they have the budget they can keep throwing at it, there's at some level a disconnect there, and that's a tricky thing. But humor is I think one of the most powerful things. Do you know who Mitch Joel is? He just released a book, Control Alt Delete.
I know the book. I don't know the author.
Okay. Well, you know about the book, and yes. It's about the trends changing in marketing, your business brand and your personal brand. And one of the things that he talks about, I don't know if he talks about it in the book, but it's one of his major themes out of the book and on his podcast, is he studies humor. And he's been following that Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee with Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's great.
Because he said that level of expertise and subtlety and creating a connection, stand-up comics get it. Because they have to get up in front of a crowd, and they have to establish an immediate connection, and they have to hold that connection. And right. He said if you can bring that level of connection into your marketing, whether it's out and out funny or not, it might be very subtle. But he said that's the benchmark right now because the marketplace on the one hand is so fast moving and coarse, it's just like, well, just throw something stupid out there. But on the other hand, really top level, the niche you want to go for that has disposable income, that's successful and all that, they appreciate subtle humor, they look for a connection, and they want to work with somebody that's smart. And I think using humor in the right way can showcase that.
Well, it's like I said before, part of the benefit of humor is that personality, that connection with you. you do want to be subtle. If you just use humor for humor's sake, you're not getting anywhere. I am a big fan of what we call direct response marketing, and that is that for every dollar I spend, I should make another dollar in return or more. Or I should have a strategy to that to make that up. It could be upsells, could be long-term lifetime value, could be whatever, the equity in that customer. But if I'm doing like most of the commercials we see on TV, which is, you know, the get-go, we see with Progressive, with Flow, we see things, and they're funny, right? But you're right. If you think about it, if you're going, I got to buy insurance. Who's Flo with again? Is she with Allstate? Or, you know, we tend not to think. Whereas if we are doing a direct response ad and there's a character and that character is always tied to it because of the connection they've already created. Like, for instance, if I use humor in my marketing, it's because I'm using it with people that I have a relationship with, that I'm communicating with on a regular basis. And unlike the commercials on TV, they don't necessarily have a relationship with them. We might have seen it, and we feel like we know Flo, and yeah, she's funny and everything. But with me, I do things that get people into that relationship as soon as possible. So I might, in this case, I might advertise for people who are experiencing a certain challenge in their business. I might say, are you experiencing this particular challenge in your business? Well, a free video that I just did with Catherine Trainer reveals how to overcome that using humor in your marketing. Enter your address, your mailing address, and we'll ship out a free CD that has this audio presentation, and it'll reveal 3 different ways you can use humor to overcome this challenge in your business. Well, that's the beginning of the relationship. Now, I'm not going to just send them a CD. I'm also going to send them other things in there that establish me as someone who can solve their problem over time, someone that appears likable, share who I am and my personality, my background, share what other people say about me. We call this, by the way, a shock and awe kit. Okay. Or I call it a holy crap kit because they weren't expecting it and they go, holy crap. But the job is meant to initiate the relationship. So now every time I communicate with them, they're like, oh, it's Craig. Craig solved my problem by sending me that free CD. And as I share a little, I don't want to be serious all the time. It's not going to be just all business stuff all the time. It's going to be about, like we talked about before, hey, you know, this is what's going on today, and this is my life, and I have to take media track. But by the way, I came across this video that I thought would be very powerful for you. So take a moment and watch it. Now, again, it might be a funny video, it might be whatever. I might be funny in it. But again, I'm creating connection with them every time I communicate with them, whether it's by email, whether it's by a newsletter, whether it's by video, you know, etc. And that's where the humor really comes in. One thing I wanted to say about about the value of being a comic, right? On being on stage. Being a comic is no different than being a business owner or a sales professional. Like you would do if you were a professional salesperson, you would script your presentation. You know, you might memorize it. It doesn't sound like a script, but we know it's scripted. And we know that we're going to ask certain questions that lead to certain answers that lead to a certain result. Comedy is the same way. I need to know that, and I test this, just like I would test all my marketing, is that I test the pause. You know, I test the timing. I test the eye contact. I test the voice inflections and the things I do so that I get the best result from the audience that I can get. So if I do something and gets no laughter, well, I got to say, well, I'm already there. How can I make sure that I get laughter next time? Well, if you're scripting a sales presentation, a sales letter, a sales video, a video, anything that you're doing, the lesson from comedy is that it's no different than a sales presentation, that you want to achieve a certain result, so you have to do things in a certain way to achieve that. And you've got to make sure that you make more people laugh than not. Right. You know? We want more people to buy than not when we're in a selling situation, and we want to, you know, offend the least amount of people. And by that, we can't be all things to all people. But if we built that relationship with people over time, we want to make sure we don't offend those people we have that relationship with. That's really what it comes down to.
And how many people do advertising, marketing, sales, and they don't pay any attention at all to their audience?
Right. I would say the majority.
You're just up there, here it is, buy it. Oh, here I am, I'm great. And not listening, not you know, and you, this is one of the things that you learn as a parent too. If
Right.
you're a parent, your kid walks through the door at the end of the school day, and you know if they've had a good day or a bad day.
Yeah.
You just know.
Yep.
And you know, I've got 6 kids, 5 sons and 1 daughter.
Wow.
So I have ninja powers. But because I know them, it doesn't mean I'm going to engage with them right now. They might not be wanting to talk, especially as they're teenagers.
Right.
And I think that's the sense that you get with your customers and your audience. When's the right time to engage?
Yeah.
But letting them know that you have awareness, that you're appreciating them, that you're tuned into them, and that whatever you're saying, doing, delivering, has them in mind.
Well, and that's a good point you just said, and is that follow-up is critical. I mean, you see your kids walk through the door and you know they're not ready to talk, but it's like following up with them. How are you doing? You know, do you want to talk about your day or something to that effect? When you're in business, you want to follow up with people because my teacher, Jay Abraham, he says, life is a moving parade. People may not have the need right now for what you have to offer. They not have it here, they don't have it here, but a month from now they may have it. So, you know, I'm very big on sequenced communications. So, because if I send out, let's say, a letter, a direct mail piece, and I generate 10 sales from that, 10 sales out of a list of 5,000, and that paid for it, and it was worth doing again. Well, if people responded to it, then I'm going to send it out again to the people who didn't respond, and I'm going to get 10 more sales, and so on and so forth. It's gonna appeal to the people who have a need for it, you know. And if you know enough about your market, about your audience, and the customers and lists that you have, then you should know before you ever send it out that it's something that is desired and wanted and needed. But the one thing you said is that a lot of business owners just say, oh, they're going to do this because I think they need it. No, you need to know. You're going to waste a lot of time, money, and effort if you're going to share what you think they need rather than doing a quick poll. Just do a quick survey and say, you know, like I just did this recently. I got some emails over the past weekend about lead generation. And 3 different people said, I'm having the toughest time. I don't know how to adjust to this economy. How do I generate more qualified leads? I need to make sales before the holidays. 3 people said that to me. So I said, let me throw an idea out to my list. Hey, I got this conversation over the weekend. 3 people asked me about the same question. So here's the question. If I were to put together an impromptu workshop next Tuesday at my home, it's intimate, 10 people can be here at the very table I'm sitting at, you know, and I would just share with you exactly how I get leads, even in difficult economies. Would you be interested? If you're interested, send me an email, and then I'll send you a link, and we'll decide whether or not we want to go through. Well, I already got 5 people to sign up. I'll open it up to 5 more people. But I just did a little survey, just sent it out, say if you're interested, let me know. If not, then don't worry about it. But otherwise, if I just hosted it without asking the question, well, then I might be sitting here all by myself.
And there's a sequence to what needs to happen, and like the before the holidays thing, that is a huge,
Amen.
thing, because there's some, you know, for a lot of businesses, it just drops. Thanksgiving, it's over, just gone. But if you have that connection, or if you have things in the pipeline, because you've done lead generation, that can see you through. That can make a big difference in your bottom line.
Yeah.
That's excellent. So, what's the top tool, strategy, or tactic you recommend to increase profits in your marketing?
Well, you know, there's 3 top things that bring me business every single month. And number 1 is speaking, getting in front of my group, any targeted group of people. And I used to speak to all types of business owners. Successful, semi-successful, unsuccessful, and I don't do that as much anymore because I need to leverage my time and talent to get the money that I want to grow, to create my lifestyle. So I tend to speak to high-level professionals, people who are already doing well, people who understand that they need to invest they need to invest money, invest time, money, and effort to make time, money, and effort, if you will. So I speak. Speaking is the number one thing I do because it's a form of sampling. It's like doing this right now, okay? And that comes to my second tool. My second tool is video. Video works tremendously for me. When I do videos and I send them out to my list, or I send them out, I use them as lead magnets or as a 12 video series or whatever. Again, it's a form of sampling where people, and if I know what my target market is going through at that time, and I answer that in one of my videos, and I say, hey, to learn more, just send an email and, blah, 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 blah. I set up that next step where I can qualify them and then see if, arrange for that next step in our business. That works tremendously. So speaking, video, and the number 3 thing that I recommend to everybody is that you need to have a newsletter. A newsletter is a touch device. It's a relationship device. It's not a selling tool per se. It's a relationship device that you send to your list. You can, I would say, not only just send it to your current customers, send it to your past customers, send it to your prospects, send it to a targeted list of people that you want to be customers. When I started out in business and I didn't have any clients, I said, who do I want to do business with? And I put them on my newsletter list and I sent them out. And somebody finally says, hey, I'm getting your newsletter. I don't know how I got on your list, but I read this thing in there and I'm interested in talking to you about it. Okay. Eventually it hits bait. It hits home and they go, that makes sense. Or they read a success story, or they see someone in the newsletter that they recognize and they just want to talk, and it gets me business every single month. So those are the top 3 things that I recommend. And of course, the video can be done online and through tools, specific tools like DNet. We were talking about DNet. You can get that out everywhere. No matter what, if they type in your name, you're everywhere. If they type in certain keywords, you're everywhere. And again, that's why it works for me.
Good. So, Craig Valine, what is your favorite way to change the world? We're going to swing it around to the heart. You can showcase a project, a group, an organization, or just, buying something in line at Starbucks for the person behind you. What's your favorite way to just put a zing in the day?
I think the thing that makes me feel good is making someone else feel good, and by giving them a compliment. I do. My son goes to Catholic school here in Pasadena, California, and I do traffic in the morning. I make sure the kids get out of their car safely, make sure no one runs over each other, and it's amazing. Moms get out of the car. They're driving because they just got out of bed and they go.
Yeah.
Some people are already grumpy, or they're grumpy from getting out of bed, having to go to work. Some people, and I just say something to them, like, wow, you look pretty today, or I'll say to one of the dads, I'm like, you're taking good care of this car. It looks great. It's something simple, but the big smile on their face. Thank you. And they always reach out and wave to me as they're driving by because they say they look forward to seeing me there every single day. I'm like their most dedicated person to volunteer at school. I don't just do it there, but I do it wherever I can, where I see someone who looks like slighted, or they're grumpy, or they're just having a bad day, or whatever, or maybe they're just there. I'm like, throwing out a compliment goes a long way. And because we're in hypnosis with all the stuff that goes on in our lives, good or bad, it just sometimes that wakes someone up and goes, thank you. Big smile. And they say,
you see me. This goes back to the awareness.
Yeah.
Just knowing, even if it's
well,
you're seeing them, it's a good thing.
Some people don't even realize I have complimented them, and then they'll chase me down and go, I just heard what you said. I'm like, oh, okay. I just thought you didn't care, but no, and that's the thing. You know what? You should do it with the intent of making smile, but don't be insulted if they don't. It's like if you have the intent and your heart's there to do something good for someone, don't worry if they don't get it. I mean, hopefully they'll get their subconscious heard it. Maybe they'll smile about it later. I mean, everybody's lives are different. Everybody's lives are consumed and overwhelmed, and it's like, you know what? Just try. Just try to make someone's day. And I think, like you just said, one of my Facebook friends, I don't know him personally, but we talk all the time on Facebook, he just bought coffee for the woman behind him in the Starbucks driver's line, and I thought, it's really nice, But he felt the need to do something good, and I think you should do that. But just think about how can you touch someone every day? Just someone. Even if it's just one person, how can you make them smile? How can you give them chills? How can you make them feel beautiful again, or handsome, or something to that effect, or proud? And I think that's a good way to go, because it's easy to get grumpy because everybody else is grumpy around you, but it's easy to smile when everybody else is smiling around you too. So you just try to start it, plant the seed, and hopefully it'll affect. I'm big on paying it forward.
And that is also a great way to make connections with business owners, is recognizing things that they're doing well.
Yes. Yeah.
Or their employees are doing well.
Yes.
Catch people doing good and complimenting them on it can really be a door opener.
Yeah. I had someone say something to me. I put on an event with two significant business people, not necessarily gurus in the world, but they're big in what they do. And the day of the event, no compliments, no nothing. It's like, all right, thanks, blah, 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 blah. And it was a month later, and he goes, I just realized I never told you how proud I was of you, what you did, and how great it was, and how articulate you are. And I just want you to know that I think that, and blah, 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 blah. And I went, wow, thank you. I wasn't expecting it. I didn't get it on the day of, but to think that that person thought about it and felt bad that he didn't share that real intimate thought that he had, that made my day. That carried me a long way. And I said, wait a minute, let me get my voice recorder. Can I record it? But it really goes a long way when you give a compliment. And I just try to do it. I try to do it not just once a day. I try to do it with everybody I come across. But it's a goal, at least once a day, make someone smile.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Yay. So now it's time to forecast into the future. Prognosticator's cap. What do you think is the top tool, trend, or strategy to watch in the next year in marketing?
It's kind of a new invention. You've never really seen it before, but I'm being facetious. I honestly think being human again, picking up the phone, meeting people, not relying just on one thing, but integrating all the things, but remembering that we're people dealing with people. And it's making that human connection with people so that they really feel like they are special. Especially if you're a local business. It doesn't matter if you use the internet or not, or if you use lots of other media. But even if you're a nationwide business, you should make it your point to know your customers. If that means holding a special event in your hometown and inviting them in, just so you can press the flesh and get to know each other, and or picking up the phone and saying, you know what, we do business all the time, but I know nothing about your life. Tell me about your life, and listen. Don't talk, listen. I think that will go a long way, because, in this world right now, nobody trusts anybody. It's just a bunch of people pontificating, and especially in the guru world, everybody's saying the exact same thing, and it's like, okay, but be yourself. Be yourself. Share with us your life, and we'll feel connection with you. And that's why I said personality and marketing is so critically important. Sharing your life with people so that they feel like I'm dealing with a human and not just a business. But I think more human touch, more phone calls. Don't rely on texting alone. Don't rely on the internet alone. Use them, but don't rely on them. Mm-hmm. People do those things because they're afraid to get on the phone. But guess what? We're just human beings. People like to talk. It's okay. And if they don't, they'll tell you. But at least you make that effort to create that human connection. And I'll tell you, if you have that human connection, you're not going to do business anywhere else.
Excellent. So, Craig, what's the best way for people to be in contact with you if they're ready to take things to the next step and connect?
All right. Well, I have two websites, and they have two different purposes. Number one, if anybody watching this is in the Los Angeles area, I run a group that meets once a month. That's called EMP. It's short for Enhanced Marketing Performance. And we meet once a month to share ideas among success-minded and successful entrepreneurs. Those people who understand that you need to invest your time, money, and effort into growing. You want a great lifestyle, you have to invest your time, money, and effort to do that. I just show you how to do it intelligently, so you make better marketing decisions to reach the goals that you're trying to do in the fastest time possible. We do workshops within our monthly events. We have guest speakers. I share strategies that you're not going to hear anywhere else. Hence my nickname, No BS Craig. I tell it like it is, and I tell it so that a 6-year-old can understand it. But it's advanced strategies for getting to where you want to go in the fastest time possible. So if you're interested in that, please just visit my website at www.empresults.com. empresults.com. If you liked anything I had to say today and you think I might be able to help you, let's have a phone call. And you can just learn more about me and about what I do and see a little bit about my philosophy at my website. It's www.nobs, like no bull squat, nobscraigvaline.com. And I believe my website is on the bottom of my lower third there.
It is, but this is a podcast also, so it's Valine. Craig is spelled the regular way, and last name Valine, and that's .com.
No BS Craig Valine. Yeah. So so I'm easy, just to reach out. But I thank you, Catherine, for having me on this. I appreciate it. I'm very passionate, as you can tell.
Thank you, Craig. This is great. So we are going to stop with this right here, and then we're going to take a few minutes and shoot the bull after. So if you are subscribed to the Big Business Zoo newsletter, you will have the password to go in and get the insider access to Craig and me shooting the bull. Whatever happens, and it's on audio because I interview Italians. Are you Italian?
No, I'm Irish.
Irish. Still, there can be gestures. So we go to audio.
All right.
And everyone else will be back with Shoot the Bull, and thank you.
Thank you for visiting the Big Business Zoo and our speaker series, Increase Your Sales, Network, and Site Rank. And today's guest, Craig Valine, and this episode's topic, using offline promotions and humor to increase sales and your network. If you enjoyed what we had to share today, check out the show notes on this page where we have links, references, and a free gift provided by our speaker. A transcript as well as a podcast version of today's episode are also available on the show notes page. Shoot the Bull podcast episodes, due to their candid nature, are available to subscribers only at bigbusinesszoo.com. Subscribing to the podcast, videos, and articles in this series is a service designed to benefit you in your business, your media efforts, and in designing a lifestyle of joy and excellence. You can also find more videos, articles, resources, and podcasts for this series on bigbusinesszoo.com, dnettv.com, Podcast Alley, and iTunes. You can connect with our beloved zookeeper, profitability strategist, and marketing maven, Catherine B. Trainer on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and bigbusinesszoo.com. We make our videos and podcasts as shareable as possible, but please use digital rights respect for the content created here, or you could be banished from the zoo to the circus with the other clowns. This has been a production of Big Business Zoo Media, part of Big Business Zoo LLC, all rights reserved.